welcome. Good to see you. As always. Nice to see you. Nicky, nice to see you, pals. Welcome, and thanks. You're just off the stage in the O2, so thanks for doing that.
Fantastic crowd over there. It was good fun.
All very excited and lifting the roof and everything. Year off is a long time in anyone's life, but I suppose when you're in a band like yours, it must have been pretty hectic. I mean, what did you find yourself doing, Shane?
For me, I spent a lot of time in Sligo, actually. You know, a lot of people say, like, you should have travelled or should have gone whatever, but for the first time, Ryan, in, like, 11 years, we got to kind of chill out.
Yeah.
You know, just got to do stuff that we never got to do, like, you know, play golf, play football with my mates.
Hang out with the kids, I suppose.
Hang out with the kids,
How many
obviously,
have you
as
got
well.
now?
3 kids now, yeah.
3. And what ages are they?
10 months. Shane is 10 months. Patrick is 2 years, and Nicole is 5.
So you got a little fun-size Shane for yourself.
Yeah. a little mini me.
A mini me.
He's a bit more like a mini Gillian, in fairness.
Okay, well, thank God for that. Some would say. I mean, it's always the way. You know, well, in your case, it's different than mine. But 10 months is so that's been your year, really. Is this little life coming into your life?
At the start of the year, Shane was born.
Yeah.
And then for the whole year, basically, just spent time at home with the kids.
That must have been really nice for a change.
It was great. It was fantastic.
Yeah. And Nicky, you had the tragedy of your dad passing away. There's only a year ago this month, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And that must have been enormous for you, just to get your head around something as awful as that happening. How have you managed?
Yeah, it's for anybody who's lost a parent, it's horrendous. You know, it was very sudden. It was very tragic. But you learn to deal with it somehow. You know, I think it's a part of life that you'll never get used to. But he's there. You know, I always feel he's around me or he's there with me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like an amazing religious person, but I think you have to have that belief that one day, you know, we will see him again. But you know, my dad was a great guy, you know, for all of us. So I had a very special relationship with him, and you know, you think back and you thank God for, you thank him or whatever for all of those memories, and that's what keeps you going. I think a year on, it's still very early, obviously, and premature, but I think you kind of make a decision that you go, you know what, you have to move on, and everyone has to go. We have him here with us, and he'll always be here with us. But there is a time when you kind of go, you know, you have to, you know, move on with your life.
There's a lot of people say when they lose somebody that important to them is that after they've passed away, certainly in the first X amount of time, that you still talk to them. You know, you might in a given day go, geez, I need to ask you a favour here or some advice. Do you find yourself doing that a bit?
I do. I find myself, and even still, sitting up at night, you know, if you can't sleep. No, it's not every night, but some nights you'd be sitting up and, you know, you kind of go and listen. Because my dad was a character, you know, so it'd be like, right, come on, this is it now. There's nobody around, no, everyone's asleep. You know, appear to be doing something, sitting on the bed. You know what I mean? And I think, you know, I think it's one of those things you go through. But, you know, I do ask him questions, and I find myself now, even though I had an amazing relationship with him, I do now find myself wanting to ask him more questions than I ever did get to do when he was here, you know, and I suppose that's just part and parcel of it.
And Cian, of course, I'm sorry to say you also lost. It was a bit further down the road, and but equally, I would imagine the year off was probably extremely helpful in that respect, that you weren't running around the world doing stuff.
I suppose in one sense, you know, I was gearing up for a year off of travelling, and you know, myself and Louis Walsh were about to put a girl band together, and then my dad fell ill very suddenly with a brain tumour, a very, very aggressive cancer, and he was ill with the cancer for about 9 months and passed away at the end, 9-10 months, and then he passed away. So yeah, I think my year off was a very, very strange one in a weird sense. There was a lot going on in my life. You know, I was getting married, number one. Number two, I was putting this girl band together with Louis Walsh, which was a huge opportunity. And then my dad just suddenly, you know, got sick and then at the end of the year passed away, unfortunately. And, you know, so it was a very surreal year. I don't necessarily feel like I had a year off for a second because there was just so much hanging on us. And, you know, just even listening to Nicky talking about it there, it's a very, very hard thing to even sit here and accept that it's gone, you know. I mean, myself and my mum came up to Dublin the other day. We were doing a Christmas special that comes out in December, and get the wee plug in, you know. Yeah. But getting a Christmas special, and you know, we were just talking about it on the way up, but it just felt so surreal, and it's just a very, very hard thing to accept. And for our mums, I think a lot more. You know, I mean, they've lost their life partner. For us, you know, we get on with life, as Nicky said. You know, you have to get to that point where you just go, that's life, you got to move
Take
on.
them with you. You just take them
You
with
gotta
you. You
take 'em
realise
with
you have them.
There's a song on the album, isn't there, about is it about both your dads, or is it about generally loss of someone?
Well, it's about dads in general. It's about all
Yeah.
of that, because you got to remember that Keenan Shane's dads are still around.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
So we were very conscious to write the song. With, you know, we all wrote our own individual verses. So my verse is very much about, you know, what he did for me and how, you know, what I think of him and stuff. Same as Keen's, and Marks and Chains is a bit more thanking him, and down the road we're going to face that day someday. But it's a lovely sentiment on the album. It finishes the album really nice. We're very happy.
I think the title of the song says it all. It's called Too Hard to Say Goodbye.
Yeah.
You know,
That
and
sums it up, yeah.
and I think that title is kind of a title that's very apt to someone who's still here and very apt to someone who's gone. Just it's so difficult to say goodbye to anybody.
In slightly happier news, I don't mean to
Yeah.
belittle what you're saying, but
course,
just because I know you've had a great year in the sense that you got engaged, didn't you, in was it January?
Yeah, on the 28th of January on our 5th anniversary, yeah.
Okay, Kevin is
Yeah.
your fiance. So how did you meet Kevin? And
I actually met him, tonight is, that's a terrible picture of tonight is...
who picked that picture?
Who approved that?
I don't know. Who approved that?
Tonight was Childline, and actually, even though Childline is now on a different time of the year, but it used to be on in January, and he used to be in a boy band called V, and they were also performing on Childline, and we met in Lily's after the show.
Yeah, nightclub in town for those who don't know, and there you are.
Lily's Bordello,
hanging
it's just
out.
a nightclub.
Yeah, more than just a nightclub, obviously. And have you set a date? Was it a very romantic proposal, the whole thing, or was it very kind of casual?
It was very us, which is quite romantic, but quite casual also, you know. We haven't set a date yet. I think, you know, we're kind of, well, everyone's now asking us, you know, come on, when's it going to be?
Yeah.
We're nearly a year into our engagement now. You know, we're kind of brainstorming and getting excited about different ideas and stuff like that, but we haven't really set a date as such, no.
Okay, and when you came out, you did so, I suppose, extremely publicly. And that was some time ago. And now, as you reflect, you've had time off and think about the work.
Yeah.
Was it torture for you, or was it just a pain in the neck, or was it
Was which torture actually coming out?
coming out and having to come on shows like this and go on about it?
I think the lead up to coming out and the kind of years of getting to that place was, I don't think, well, at certain times more torturous than the act of actually coming out itself. Coming out itself was, I mean, just a massive release, a massive weight off my shoulders, and to be honest, the best thing I've ever done in my life. So it was by no means in any way negative. It was all positive for me. You know, I think it was getting to that point that was the more difficult part.
So it was the not being able to come out, or the not having the
Yeah,
comfort
not
in yourself.
being able to, because the choice was there. I think
Yeah.
I think at certain times I was probably my own worst enemy, and I think that the biggest mountain to climb was in my own head, you know.
And why was that?
I think probably because a lot of the time people care a little bit too much about what other people think of them.
Yeah.
What would they say, or what would they think and stuff like that. And I think that it wasn't until I actually, to be honest, until I kind of fell in love with Kevin and realised that was the kind of part where I was like, how could anyone find something wrong with this? This is just true love, you know. And that was the bit where I kind of went, you know what? I don't care what anyone else thinks. This is positive and nothing else. And that was probably the last step in the process to kind of getting where I really needed to be to come out. And it took a long time. And, you know, in some ways I wish it didn't. But I learned a lot along the way. And I think I'm 30 now, and I'm happier than I've ever been in life.
I was going to say, I've met you a few times. You strike me this evening, even just coming during the break or whatever. You seem very comfortable in your skin. You seem very happy. Is that a fair assessment, or is that just?
I'm more comfortable and more confident than I've ever been, without a doubt.
Like that strikes me as being the case.
think it doesn't really suit me to not be open and happy and honest about everything, and it didn't ever really suit me. And I think I was very nervous and quite anxious, and you get into Westlife and it becomes a big boy band, and all of a sudden there's even more attention on you than ever. When you kind of, the last thing you kind of need almost in certain areas is attention. So it was definitely tough at times, just because I knew all eyes were on me in certain ways, and you know, people talk and gossip and stuff like that. But the thing that is most important is that I'm here now. I'm 30 years old. I'm happy as Larry, engaged, and I kind of came out of it on the good side.
Yeah, congratulations. It's good news all around.